Hello, and welcome to Wholeness, a quantum experience. Today, we have Maria Seraphina with us, and I'm just so excited for people to be in her presence and get to experience her. I'm pretty sure we met at a workshop in Canada, right? Like that's where we officially met. Yeah.
Yeah. We met online first, but in person, yeah.
Oh, okay, so we did meet online first. Okay, so
We did.
got it.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember which one came first. Either way,
hmm
we've done some things together, and I've also been a client of hers like since basically that time, since 2016. So I've seen her work grow and evolve into, I mean, she was powerful in 2016, and like now it's just like next level powerful. Um, and you've been a big part of like my growth and my becoming, and yeah, I just am excited to share you with people. So thank you for joining me today.
Well, thank you. And I'm just going to say that we were just talking before this, but every time I get in a space with Ava and she's in the driver's seat, I start to tear up. So that's just what's here right now. It just feels so humbling and yeah, just lots of gratitude to be in your presence and to be with you and all the ways that you have grown and expanded. And yeah, to be held in this space with you is awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like if one of the things, especially bringing the frequency of creation in, because I feel like I wasn't really aware of it until you. And it's like since then I can really feel how everything really is like this co-creation in a way that I didn't get before. I feel like that's like part of what you're saying there, right? Like it's not either one of us like alone creating anything.
Mhm.
Like no matter who's in the driver's seat or who's the client, the facilitator, whatever, like it's a co-creation and it's that much better, I feel like, because of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like something else is manifested, birthed through the dynamic of the two that become the Trinity. And yeah, we have no idea where this is going to go today, but I'm sure it's going to be exciting,
Yeah.
enlivening.
So I guess the place that I would like to start, and we'll just see where we go from here, is we worked, I think it was probably in the fall, we had a one-on-one session, and I was like doing this fun codependency dance that I do with a lot of people. And one of the things that I'm really good at is being loyal, although I'm sure some people would disagree with that, but you know, that's their thing. But like loyalty is big for me. And we worked on that in a session, and you even brought in the word allegiance. And I think the second you said it, I immediately like, oh, it felt so gross.
hmm
Um, but like we reoriented that relationship. So instead of it being like loyalty to others, it became loyalty to self. And I feel like since then, uh my ability to expand more fully into myself has been exponential. Like it's been one of the biggest changes for me. And I know one of my core fears is around abandonment, right? That if I fully embrace me, then I'll be too much for people and they'll leave me. And that's not untrue, but and that's okay. Um, but it feels really good to choose myself in a way that
hmm
I didn't realize. Like it was almost like keeping myself in this prison of pain to avoid pain, which
hmm
I assume you witness in more than just me, right?
In
Like we all do it.
myself and
It's a human
everyone.
experience.
Yeah, it is. But I think it's a new human experience, at least on this level for us. Like we come from a traditional family unit for many, many generations, and it's like find your mate, create a sense of safety and security. You hold on to that, get an education, get a job, get your pension, find that safety and that security, hold on to that. you have your circle of friends, you have your, same rituals, and there's a sense of safety in that, or perceived safety anyway, in that sameness, in the continuity of those, I guess, familiar units. And, we have so many sayings like blood is, what is it, thicker than
Bigger
water,
than water.
and right, like all of these, families comes first, and yet we're in a time of expanded consciousness where it's more opening up to the collective field and where we're going as humanity. So then we start to break away from those family units, and coming back to that word allegiance, like it doesn't make sense anymore, because evolution requires that we change and we leave what is familiar. And so now on a collective level, we're all starting to like kind of find our wings and looking around. It's like, wait, how did I get here? Who am I? It's like this collective awakening. And it hasn't been asked of us before. So we're really going through these growing pains of like, is it okay to do this? Like, where do I orient from? What's my orientation point if it's not everything that's familiar, everything that I've been conditioned to, which isn't it? It's not that it was wrong, but it was just that was a different time period and a different level of consciousness than where we are now.
Yeah. Like I remember when I first moved away from Virginia Beach to here, I'm being so enmeshed with my family, like getting here being like, who am having an identity crisis of sorts. Like, who am
Hmm.
I if I'm not enmeshed with my family, if I'm not trying
Yeah.
to be like a martyr or fix, even just on like an energetic level. And then recently I had some of that again too, because as I grow, things aren't necessarily in alignment anymore. And it's like, well, if I let go of this and I let go of this and I let go of this, like what's left? And like
Hmm.
what's left is me, which is great.
Yeah.
But still, yeah, it's like, and I think too, also this idea that we have to let go of everything to become isn't what we think it is. I'm still
Yeah.
sort of working through that. Because it's
Yeah.
like to
Absolutely.
cross the threshold, like I'm the only thing that gets to walk through, but that doesn't mean that my life will necessarily like look
Hmm.
different.
Yeah, it may or it may not, right? And then
Yeah.
like the counter swing to what we were just talking about the original sort of family unit and that loyalty and allegiance, is then where there's this messaging of like, oh, just cut them out, cut it off, move on, let it go. And it's like that hyper individualism isn't necessarily the answer either. It's like,
Right.
as we are creating new awareness around our value systems and who we are and the boundaries that we hold, and boundaries being an invitation for connection, not as a fence to keep something out necessarily. It's like we give each relationship the opportunity to reorganize itself. And so it isn't necessarily, it's a perceived loss because there's a change, but
Yes.
at the end of the day, love is love. Love doesn't actually, it doesn't break down, it doesn't disappear, but it can shift in the way that it is actively present within our life. A relationship dynamic can shift and someone can leave our immediate sphere, but the love is still there. Right. And so it really is us, when you talk about the identities, and it's identities of the individual, but also as a collective of what does it mean to be human? What does it mean to be in relationship? All of that is changing, and we're clunkily trying to redefine that and figure it out. Yeah,
It's
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 big
very
existential
interesting.
crisis.
Yeah. It's definitely this interesting place of like, I was about to say growing into a template that's not fully built yet, but I also feel
Hmm.
like we're co-creating the new template too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like there is no, or the reference point seems to be ever changing. And
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. It is. And um, I just want, yeah, I'll bring in just sort of my experience from many years ago, when maybe it's sort of when I first did my big leap, and shift. I had this huge fear that following my calling meant I was going to lose my kids and my marriage, my family, like everything. And so there was so much resistance, and I didn't know what that meant. It's like, do I have to go like live at the base of a mountain in isolation or something. Like it really, all of this was playing inside of me. Um, and the fears weren't unwarranted because once I finally, it took me 6 years of like feeling bumping up against this thing. And when I finally surrendered to it, like it was so clear. It was just, I want to be free. And so once I started to follow, like whatever that meant, I didn't even know, it did mean like walking away from the work that I was building. You and I had already met. I was already doing this kind of work, but it meant stepping away from what I thought that work was. It meant leaving my marriage, leaving my house. My kids are still with me, but it was restructuring every relationship within myself because I was orienting to this freedom, this whatever that pulse was, whatever. And to me, it's my soul. Like when we're shifting out of dynamics, it's our soul is calling us, and we've never really, I don't know if we've had a time period where we've been called to listen to soul before, right? And to listen within. So pulling forward, um, like those fears are loud and they are valid. They're going to shift everything. So we're following
Yeah,
that pulse in into
we
the
are.
unknown. Yeah.
And you can choose to not share or share, but I
Hmm.
feel like didn't you just like sort of do that again recently? Like this
Hmm.
needing to surrender. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Yeah. I would think I would be really good at it by now because I've done it so many times. And I like to pride myself on listening. I listen and then I follow that. And yet, yeah, it's this one's a little bit different, like to me, and it's still the call of freedom. And that's going to mean something different for each person. But for me, coming into divine sovereignty, inner sovereignty, our divine I am presence, and claiming our soul as inherently free and wise is everything for me. And maybe always will be. But that orientation point called me forward to then not only take steps in the spiritual realm, but also in the physical realm. Like, what does it mean to be free, interacting at this time with these different societal structures and creating more interdependence for myself and with my community? And so part of that was creating, I guess, a temple. And let's see what I want to say about that. It's been something that's been within me, like even before I left everything the first time. There's been this calling of creating a space where we can gather and support one another in a common endeavor, a common, I guess, like pulse or signal. And that is the orientation of consciousness, of freedom, liberation from all constructs of identity in society. Um, and so it was time because again things weren't working in the same way. And I've been doing ancestral lineage repair as the bulk of my work for the last 6 years, and I didn't go into that eyes wide open. They came through the back door, and it's not work I ever thought I would do or wanted to do, and it's been beautiful. And then in the fall, my lineages, working with my mother's line in particular, there's some really tricky dynamics around alcoholism and religious programming and hyper individualism within the women. And I was working through it, and a new guide came through on that lineage, and she just illuminated everything with light. And she just said, enough. Like, we've got this now. Like, you have gone down into the hellscape, into the beauty, the pain of so many lineages, no more. Like, go back into the light. And it was exciting but terrifying, and it meant breaking away from the ancestral medicine organization I had been cozily ensconced in for several years, even though there was friction because our moral values didn't align. And it kind of felt like being the baby bird being kicked out of the nest. And like, you gotta go. And it just brought up so many um, tender points and like unconscious. I don't even know if they were fears or woundings or unprocessed, maybe unprocessed material within my system. And that's when, having your support, Eva, was just awesome for a couple of months, helping kind of be that steady framework for me to build and create and bring this temple to life. And once we did that, I'm just like, now what? Okay, the framework's there on the internet, but internally, I'm like, I don't want to do this. and,
I know that
and
feeling.
yeah, and the financial flow, like I've been kind of blessed with a very unusual way that money has come in and out of my life. And it's allowed me to have a certain level of confidence to take bigger risks. And at this point, I'm finding myself in a place where that's not readily available. And I can feel my guides kind of like laughing, like, how uncomfortable do you want to get before you're going to face this fear? And, weeks are going by, I'm doing nothing with it, and my bank account's going down. And they're like, what are you going to do about it, sweetie? Like, we're not doing this for you this time. Um, and I'm very determined not to create ever from a place of fear or scarcity. And so it's not even that's been holding me back. So long story, and faith just recently it felt so primal. It's like being on the threshold of birth and death. And there's an ecstasy in both of those experiences of just the raw primal confrontation of self, the ego death, the personality construct, the meaning making, the, what if nobody comes to the temple? And it's like, that's not even the point of this. The point is you expressing your essence of your divine I am presence. And this is the current manifestation of it. And it doesn't matter if anybody else participates or not. But you have to follow what's inside. And I can say more, but I don't know which direction to go into. Do you have any questions? Has anything come up for you in those last pieces that I shared to kind of direct where I go next?
Yeah. Well, first I wanted to just comment on how the ancestors, I feel like, and I think you're speaking about your ancestors, but just like the way that they can so beautifully sort of push on us and it's almost like tough love, but that's not toxic, if that makes
Yeah,
sense. You know what I mean? Like it's different than some
totally.
how it happens in like family systems in this realm. But yeah, it's like I love it so much. It's just this really beautiful example of how they can be like really firm but loving. Like, okay.
Hmm.
And sometimes just, yeah, like you said, like laugh at us. Like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah,
Being a silly little
exactly.
human right now.
Like, quit coming and looking for things to fix. Like, just go.
Yeah.
Enough.
Yeah. And I guess I also just want to say, yeah, I'm really thankful that I got to be, yeah, part of that process of bringing it through. Because again, like you're like, especially in this time, like it's just, I feel like it's so needed and not, um, I mean, you bringing so much wisdom and light and all those things, but also the bringing of people together. Like I am witnessing and experiencing sort of this new level of loneliness,
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Um, because I want to connect in a particular way and I'm done connecting with in these other ways.
yeah.
Um, or I can do it, but it's just really hard and draining and not enlivening. And I feel
Hmm.
like the task now is to follow the juice, right?
Yeah.
And so, coming like having a place where people can gather that are excited about this phase of our existence.
Hmm.
Um, I was going to say ascension, but I feel like we've been talking about ascension, descension, ascension, right? Like it's just
Hmm.
this phase of expansion that we're all in.
Yeah.
And to be able to like that's one of the things that I'm most excited about is, yeah, to have that, like, to orient to other people who are interested in this time of evolution that we're in. Like it's such it's like I'm like looking out the window, I don't know why, but like, so many things can look really dark and scary right now,
Hmm.
but mostly I feel like they look really beautiful. And again, just to have like the people to share in that with, because in our silos, it's hard to co-create the new world. Like
Yeah.
I think it does take us coming together. Like I felt that when we did Magdalene Fire. I feel that in Sipping Nectar. I feel that in this conversation. I feel it when I'm in conversations with other people. Like
Hmm.
I like literally can like see the fabric of the world like braiding together. And so it's so much bigger than you, but like the expression of Maria is like a big part of it.
Hmm.
So like thank you for being brave and going across the threshold, that the place between death
Oh
and
my
birth
gosh,
and life
all of
and
what
all.
you just said. You need to go back and listen and take out like little quotes and sound bites. Like it was just magic. So I just want to sit for a second with what thread wants to, yeah, move
Yeah.
forward there. Um, because that's it. Like we're we're doing all of this work. We're doing the heavy lifting. We're shedding the skins. We're shedding the identities. We are raw skinned. I was just reading about jumping spiders because they're so cute. I'd love to have one as a pet. I ran into one on the trail yesterday, and I was just reading that they go into kind of a cocoon for 2 weeks as they prepare to shed their skin. And when they
Oh.
come out, you have to be really careful with them because they haven't fully formed their new exoskeleton. And so it makes me think of that as like here we're all kind of newly come out, spiritually buffed up and done all this shadow work and everything, but we're just like raw and fucking lonely, like so lonely, myself included. And I'm like, this loneliness is something different. I am connected to myself. I'm connected to my kids, my friends, clients. Like there's so much love and opportunities for connection, but there's this is like an existential loneliness. And I think it's that um, coming into what a lot of people talk about oversoul or soul monad. It's like, and it's not even other people, it's other aspects of ourself, the multi-dimensional aspects of our higher self. It's like there's this integration of self that wants to happen. And so we're looking to come together, like you said, with other people who are maybe feeling that same thing. It's like life as we know it is done. And if I look for the reflection of what is true, I'm not going to see it in any of the external systems. All I see is death, chaos, and dying because it is now mirroring all of the inner shadow work that we have been doing. Excuse me. And so now it's like, as we are finding our footing, we do want to come together. And I guess that's what I'm offering is like those experiences for us to find. It's not, it goes beyond community, but it's that commonality, that orientation point to this bigger picture that we are literally like landing a ship, like bringing this in. So you're talking about ascension, like this soul embodiment, but a soul is made up of many fractals components of who we are. It's like, yeah, where are the other people who are doing that?
Yes.
Right? And it's not even about friendship so much as that shared experience.
Yeah, when I feel like it's too, it's like it ignites, it activates remembering. Like
Hmm.
when we are with other people, whether it's through their frequency or through their words. I mean, I don't know how many times you know, in your programs where we're just doing like shares at the beginning or shares after. And it's like just one or two words. And it's like,
Mhm.
oh, like it just like activates so much. And then you have the actual like ceremony activation time, which,
Mhm.
does a whole other thing. But yeah, you're right. It's not all about friendship. Like, I mean, I
Mhm.
know even in Magdalene Fire, right? Which we did for 4 months. I was about to say, I guess it was the winter, really. Um, and you and I, so I'm gonna go here. So we started in like the sister circle world, which these days makes me want to vomit a little bit. Like because it was very much an illusion of something that I actually it was something that I wanted.
Yeah, a
But it wasn't
reflection of a longing, but not necessarily authentic.
right, that.
Yeah.
And it was perfect. Like I got so many
Mhm.
amazing people, including you out of it. I would never ever like take back that time. But it was just interesting thing to reflect on being in Magdalene Fire because there was no intention around sisterhood or anything like
Mhm.
that. And I'm not like in relationship with any of the people that were in that container, but it felt there was this real transition that happened where I stopped showing up as an individual
Mm.
and I was showing up in a collective, in a
Mm.
sisterhood of sorts.
Yeah.
And I feel like it just really naturally occurred. And there was this sense of like there wasn't like this loneliness that we're talking about wasn't as present in my life in that moment because there was this like really natural counsel, sisterhood, I don't know what we
Mhm.
want to call it, that just started happening in the space that you created. Um,
It's a
yeah,
it's
I'm like,
soul connection beyond the
yeah,
personality construct. It's like, "Oh my god,
yeah,
I see you. I see you,"
exactly.
without all the mask facade, with all the pretenses or rituals of, like, making sisterhood connection. It's, like, just raw, unfiltered, soul to soul. And that
That.
doesn't have to like, that's the difference between the having an allegiance to something, to a system, a loyalty to something in hoping that it's going to carry us through time versus allowing ourselves to be open and met raw in the soul for however long that's going to carry us through. And that authenticity is what is healing, at least in those moments, the loneliness is what I'm
Yes.
understanding in this moment.
Yeah, definitely. And I think too,
Mm.
it's like this, um, the other thing that's coming is sort of just like this idea of structure or expectation. Like we have all these expectations around like what sisterhood should look like, or even like,
Mhm.
when this interview used to be more structured, right? And it wasn't just this like free flowing thing. Like there's this sort of like, oh, well, what do you do? But I think it's like when we lean in and trust the experience, whatever it
Mhm.
is, whether it's this space or with the other group of women, and just, yeah, allowing you yourself to be raw and vulnerable, allowing yourself to be seen and seeing others, that it all just kind of, yeah, it clicks. It doesn't need to be a
Mhm.
phone call every week
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
anything like that. Like, I think, yeah, we're really moving beyond so many of the, do
Yeah.
I want to say structures? Yeah. It's not just
Mhm.
like it's not just like these much bigger structures that are falling away. It feels like those like micro ones are
Mhm.
too. And
It's
it's
the
good. I'm
new,
excited. I like it. Yeah.
creating the new, right? And I talk a lot about frequency and like holding, becoming the frequency and holding the frequency holders. And when we come into that authentic alignment with our soul, which isn't necessarily always authentic in our personality construct and the way we bring it into the world, and that's just part of being human. But when we can attune to it, that resonance helps to bring others into the field. And sometimes there's going to be discord still, and that's okay, right? And we allow that to inform and to open and evolve. But there is something about, it's not so much do I get along with this person, but do I hold a similar frequency resonance with this person that I can create with for however, whatever that time might be. And I think there's then also, at least those who are coming into my space, is now such a level of self-responsibility. And it's not, because so much of my work in the coming into the divine sovereign presence is undoing the paradigm we've talked about so many times in the work together of the victim, the martyr, and the perpetrator. And so as that sheds and drops and we can just be in an authentic expression, there isn't like this push and pull for so much of um needing to be held, needing to be seen, wanting to be witnessed. It's just like, this is what's alive in this moment, and it's just pure in its essence rather than trying to be something. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that because I feel like over the past, I guess time is weird. We'll call it 6 months just for lack of really
Hmm.
knowing. But my need to be like validated or like call a friend and like process something out is like almost non-existent. Not that it's non-existent, but it's
Hmm.
so much less. Like the website that I just put out, like I barely had anybody look at it, which is not how I would have been before. I've been like,
Hmm.
look at it, make sure you tell me it's amazing. I'm not putting it
Right.
out into perfect. And not that I didn't get any feedback on it, because it's good to make sure that, people
Yep.
understand what it's saying. But like, um, yeah, it's just this really different and interesting place to be. Like I just make decisions now. I don't have someone
Mm.
back me up. Like I can be responsible for, or if I check in with my unseen people, like
Right. Yeah.
they're the team
Yes.
that I'm working with the most.
Yeah. And I think going back to like those threshold moments for me, um, just in the last, couple of weeks with this, putting this temple out into the world, was confronting the places where I haven't fully trusted myself yet. And because it's like, yeah, where do I still need validation or praise or even the encouragement of you can do this? And it's not, we don't want to become so hyper individual that we don't appreciate that still. But I'm like, wow, there's still these parts of me that don't, it's like it's still tender. Like this is so much, it feels so much bigger, and that's meaning story making that I'm creating than anything I've done before. But it really isn't. It's just different. I've made huge leaps, huge leaps. Okay, don't do
I think
that.
it's
You're gonna freak me out. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, it's just how do we fully lean into our own backing? And it was through a somatic experiencing session. I work with this amazing woman, and I have twice a month for the last year. And it came back, it was about birthing myself. And my mother went into labor. I'm like, have this experience. I'm ready to go and do this thing come earthside. But then out of fear, the doctors interrupted that with a C-section. And I could just still feel that in my tissue. And it was so fascinating to me because then my body started to move. And it was just my head and it was like moving. And I realized, I'm like, I'm looking for my orientation point now. Where is it? And it's like I've been scrambling to figure out where it is outside of me. And all of my work these last 2 decades have been to find it within me. And it feels like all these tools and practices help to bring me back, but it doesn't necessarily stick. And so it feels like this, what I'm birthing into the world is like me rebirthing myself and orienting finally fully into myself to trust myself, because I've done all the work with the guides and the ancestors and it's like I'm not
yeah.
held. I am so well held. But it's like that was sort of their message, is like, we're kicking you out now because you have to do this. Nobody else
Mm.
can do this for you. And I'm not holding this alone. This isn't about me. And yet there is no structure, there is no container or temple if I'm not holding myself. And so it just really feels like that's all that's manifesting right now into this, yeah, through this process. It's usually
Oh, it's
always comes back, like, none of our work that we put out into a world of spiritual entrepreneurs in some ways is about is not about us. It's about us trying to find,
I feel like
ourselves and
everything I do
refine
is
our
about
soul.
me.
That's
Yeah.
what I mean. Like, it's not about
Yeah.
anybody else at the end of the day. Like,
Yeah, like this new event I'm supposed to do called Depression Reboot, like it's 100% for me. It doesn't
mhm,
matter. And I was just like the other, because I'm basically teaching it to myself in preparation so that I can teach it to other people. And I was like cooking the other day, and basically it was a very slow cooking process because I'm teaching teaching myself this new process. And I'm like, okay, this is this is fun. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
exactly. Like we
That's
are
the
the way.
there you
Um,
go. We are the
and
way.
I won't share because I'm still processing them, all the things that came up last night. But I've been, especially with this movement event, I've been saying like that the body is a portal. And what became really, really clear to me last night is that the body isn't just a portal, it's the portal.
Mhm. Yeah,
And that felt like a huge, like just
yeah,
click, like
yeah.
the portal.
And it's the portal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it may not be exactly the same experience, but what I found with working with so many clients is that as we're opening up to our multi-dimensionality and different aspects of us exist in different timelines, different dimensions, there is something about the body, this particular life, this particular um, frequency is like this density. Like we so much in the spiritual world right now, those who are talking about the ascension path is about moving into 5D and other and beyond. And it's not about transcendence, it's about bringing it here. And people are starting to understand that more and more. But there is something about that. The body is the portal for all of this transformation. We are the one and the all, and we can't bypass what is right here. And so coming into that gnosis that you have of that, like that's just so incredibly powerful, and it's truth.
Yeah. But I guess
It's
the questions
amazing.
that I'm playing with, that I've been playing with, that are even more present since I call it ceremony when we're together, ceremony last night,
Yeah.
is like this multidimensionality. And we've talked about this a little bit, right? About, again, the ascension, descension, ascension. But it's like,
Hmm.
yeah, what if it's not up here? What if it's not
Hmm.
down below? What if it's all just literally in here, in your body?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like the library, the codes, the portal to other dimensions. What if it's everything is encased in your body?
Yeah.
I think it is. I think that's the
Yeah.
answer. But like
Hmm.
I really didn't it did not click in that way until last night. And so it's like, you know, having a baby is the ultimate creation, the ultimate divine expression, the ultimate manifestation. And so if we can do that, if we can create humans, then
Hmm.
we can create like anything, right? Like,
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
and like literally from within us. It also makes me think of, like Jesus said, right, that the kingdom of heaven is within,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Like
Hmm.
everything we need is already here. And I know, like, I've heard that a million times, right? But like it's definitely dropped in this different way. Like I keep talking about weaving the physical world and the unseen world. And it's like my my body is already that,
Mhm. Yeah.
right? Like, so anyways, now I'm getting to the point where I don't have human words yet.
No, that's great. That's exactly it. And I see it, Lee Harris spoke to this. I forget it what he called it. I don't know if this is my word for it or his word for it, but they were similar anyway, but like the multidimensional heart. And in a lot
Mm,
of the Magdalene teachings, we are talking about the high heart, which is over the thymus. And so again, semantics, but what is the experience of like coming into the heart? The multidimensional heart becomes a portal where we can access everything. We often try to access it from the mind, but it's like we are processing information from above, from below, from within. It's all coming to the access point of the heart. And that's what was through in our ceremony last night with the simple vibration of the hum.
mm,
Everyone's eyes were closed, but my hands were moving, and there was a hum, and then there was a movement like this, and it was
ooh,
orienting us to that access point. And I'm just sharing through words my experiences as well. I don't have answers, but the experiential is as we bring it all in home into the heart. And that's not bypassing any other part of our body, but it concentrates the energy there. And then we get the capacity to move wherever we need to move through the quantum,
yes,
access whatever we need to access. Like it's
so
not
good.
it's still frustrating because we haven't quite figured it out. I think it's so simple, but it's not easy to get there. And we've
Tell
talked
me.
about like this manifestation in the physical of abundance and finances, like as we're playing with the old structures, we're bridging between the two. It's like we can feel it's accessible, it's all here, but we haven't remembered or yet accessed the coding or programming to allow us to just flip the switch,
Yeah.
bring in what I need, well, whatever, which way it goes. Anyway, something like
Well, it
that.
also seems like too our people are um pressing on some places to motivate us in other ways.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And our people, but also just the external structures that are no longer
Yes.
viable, right? It's just not, um, and as a collective, when we look at it, it's like we don't know what to do. And that's and the design, the divine design of it is that it's going to keep okay, I can't do anything out there, so then I have to come in here, and this is where the answers reside. And then we have these conversations, and it sparks different conversations, and that whole network can start to unfold. And then
Yes.
we bring in the new earth, we bring in heaven on earth, which is already here, like it's, yeah, all the things.
So good. Okay. So, I before we go, and you can expand if you want, but Maria was talking about this temple that she's created, and I just want to share that even if you come in at the lower tier, that's $11 a month. Um, there are a lot of really beautiful resources, and I think she's also added an event.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's new or not,
Yeah.
but there's one resource in particular that I feel like you get your money's worth even just with this one, and that's the organic light grid. Um, and so if you're feeling called at all, definitely like go check out her stuff. And again, there's 4 different tiers, and there's other ways to work with Maria as well. I recommend them all, but even if you just do the $11 a month, like, and you just use that one tool regularly, like, change your life. It's so
Hmm.
good. And for me, I mean, it's helped with a lot of things, but there was this one time in particular where as the pieces of the grid were coming together around me, of like, it was like parts of myself touching each other and like re-meeting after like a long,
Mm,
a long time of being apart. And so it
yeah.
was just really beautiful. And that was just one experience, right? Like that doesn't mean that that's the experience every time, but
Yeah.
it's also, I think, this new way of orienting to structure and re-enlivening
Hmm.
structure. 'Cause, yeah, it's just structure is how we understand structure is changing.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Like we're bringing in creation templates. We're bringing in crystalline grid. I don't fully know what that all means yet. Part of my mandate, I've been told, is to bring in the new, which is super uncomfortable for me because I don't really get to know what that is until it's arriving. And then I get clarity over time. So, somebody who likes to know, a bit of a control freak, that's very uncomfortable to be in. But that's where we are all at now. And so we do have new structures coming in our light body to help us come into coherence with the earth's light body. And this is part of the ascension process that we don't necessarily see, but we can feel and perceive. And that is what we're starting to orient to, these new structures that bring the stability now, because the old framework, most of it's illusory,
mhm.
and what's the word? No longer valid, right?
Yeah.
Obsolete. So yes, organic light grid is within that, and then that's a core piece that I bring into all of the programs and offerings. And so beyond the monthly being able to participate in the temple, the thing I'm also really excited about for the fall is Emissaries of Light, which is the
Ooh, cute.
9-month container where we are actively working with these new light grid structures and helping to activate our galactic blueprints and templates, and coming into that ancestry within ourselves and that multidimensionality we were speaking of, bringing more coherence and understanding to that process and opening up to whatever those gifts, talents, that doesn't feel like the right words, but our innate, whatever it is that we bring into the world, all that being activated. So I am excited about that starting in September as well. That
Mm,
feels like the thing I'm super, yeah, it feels
yeah.
easy to talk about. The temple is still, yeah, it's awesome. And I'm still fighting that, I don't know. Now I'm putting my foot in my mouth. I have no idea.
No,
What
it's
I
so
do.
good. It's so good. I'm
Yeah.
I'm thrilled and yeah, looking forward to all of it and yeah, having more people just enter in this again, this co-creation of the new
Hmm.
because I feel like you're really holding space for that.
Mm.
Um, okay, well, we have reached time, and this has been amazing and fun. So thank you so much, Maria. And if there's anything else, is there anything else that you wanted to share before we go?
No, just thank you for making it easier. It's always feels daunting for me to start talking about things in these kind of containers. So thank you for just letting it, yeah, flow and hold all that. It's awesome.
Yeah, beautiful. All right. Well, thank you for joining us and see you later. Bye.